Welcome to the Crawlcast. I'm your host, George Krawczak, and this is what happened at Money in the Bank 2025. And if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Now let's get started. The first match was the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And your Miss Money in the Bank of the Year is Naomi. So they started off the match of kind of like an old school versus new school kind of thing, where you had Naomi, Rhea, and Alexa team up to attack Julia, Stephanie, and Roxanne. And there was a rough spot where Roxanne hit a Hurricane Rana on Rhea on the ladder, but it looks like Roxanne hit her head on the ladder actually. She then hit a very nice middle rope moonsault while Rhea was on the ladder. And then Julia and Roxanne tried to team up together, and it kind of didn't really work very well. They tried to do like a ladder bridge, but the ladder was too short to reach the barricade. And then they also tried to put Rhea in the middle of the ladder and kind of smash it down on her, but the ladder like locking mechanism wasn't unlocked and wasn't folded down. And there was a great spot with Stephanie Vakir climbing the ladder, and then with Julia on her back. And then Julia and Roxanne had a very nice double team move on Alexa on the ladder. And then Rhea was buried under a stack of ladders for most of the match, and then she came out kind of at the end and cleaned house. There was also a very nice like double code red by Roxanne and Alexa on Naomi, I'm sorry, well, nice code red by Roxanne and Alexa. And then Naomi took out Rhea and Alexa by pushing them off the ladder, and Naomi climbed the ladder and unhooked the briefcase. Overall, it was a pretty decent match. There was one spot where Stephanie hit the devil's kiss on top of a ladder, and that was really good. And I thought it was also interesting because they changed camera angles to more of a drone shot when Naomi was grabbing the briefcase. And so I thought that was kind of like interesting where it's like they changed camera angles. So maybe that's like tipping their hand a little bit. So this is kind of something that I am thinking about though. That is weird. So Money in the Bank is at the end of August next year. And that's very, very weird to me. And so you have the 1 year stipulation for the Money in the Bank contract. And I always looked at it as you have 1 year until the next pay per view. Like, for example, when it was at WrestleMania, you had until the next WrestleMania to cash in. And then now at Money in the Bank, you have till the next Money in the Bank to cash in. So it'd be like about a year, a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, give or take. But now it's like a year and a half later. And it's so far away where I think the year stipulation doesn't make sense in the sense where it's like you can't really game it out. Does Naomi have until like June 7th, or does she have until like August 29th to cash in? Because those are quite a ways away. And like I said, it just doesn't feel right having Money in the Bank in August next year. So this is what I think will happen for the future is Bianca or Jade will be the champion. I think what will probably happen is Jade Cargill will win Queen of the Ring and beat Tiffany for a title at SummerSlam. And then shortly after that, Naomi will cash in on Jade. That's what I think will probably happen. But overall, very fine match. The next match is Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. for the Intercontinental Championship. And still, your Intercontinental Champion is Dominic Mysterio. This was a fine match. Octagon Jr. is very athletic, and he did, a lot of good lucha things. Liv interfered at the end, and Dominic Mysterio retained. It was funny because Dom was supposed to be the heel in this match, but the crowd was 100% behind him. And it was just kind of hard to get into this match because I don't think a single person thought Octagon Jr. had any chance at winning. It felt pretty random and like just a filler match. I get it. They're kind of promoting their partnership with AAA, but overall, this was a nothing match. Probably shouldn't have been on the card, but it was cool to see Dom, I guess. The next match is Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And your new Intercontinental Champion is Becky Lynch. So Lyra Valkyria attacked Becky before the bell rang. And I get it that Becky's a heel now, but it was kind of weird. Her gear kind of made me think that this was more of a street fight. And also a moment happened where Lyra had like a bit of a wardrobe malfunction and her top kind of came undone and she needed help with the refs. So that kind of slowed it down. And there's a very nice top rope suplex spot. Lyra had a really nice leg drop off the barricade to Becky Lynch. And then Becky hit the manhandle slam off the second rope. Lyra hit the Nightwing on the outside, and they had a almost double countout spot, which was interesting. And then it was weird because they're doing like a back and forth roll up spot, and then Becky just won. And yeah, she was grabbing the tights, but it was just a weird finish. Like, I'm surprised that they haven't had a normal finish yet in any of their matches. So I assume this probably means that they're gonna go they're gonna face each other at Evolution. So at the end, Lyra raises Becky's hand, and then Lyra puts the belt on Becky, and as she's doing it, she German suplex Becky and hits her with the Nightwing. So overall, it was a good match. Probably not as good as the one at Evolution. It was just kind of strange why, like, it felt like they should have probably had more of a normal finish rather than just more kind of, I don't want to say cheating. Well, yeah, it was cheating, but just a undecisive victory. And so it kind of seems like they'll continue this feud to Evolution, and I assume it'll probably be both of them for the Intercontinental Championship, or maybe they'll add another woman or two, maybe make it a three-way or a four-way. But overall, it was a fine match. The next match is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which is Andrade versus Seth Rollins versus LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa versus Penta versus El Grande Americano. So at the beginning, and your Mr. Money in the Bank is Seth Rollins. So at the beginning, they all go after Seth Rollins because he's kind of the favorite, and then they all go after Solo Sikoa. LA Knight like literally killed El Grande Americano with a drop kick while he was holding the ladder, and then Penta did a big dive on everyone. Andrade had a nice sunset flip on El Grande Americano, and Seth Rollins was suplexed through a ladder by Penta. And then Penta hit Andrade with a Mexican Destroyer through a ladder bridge. And then at one point, El Grande Americano, his back was just cut open. And El Grande Americano brought a Fireball sponsored ladder into the match. And that's just funny to me because now you got the Slim Jim tables, you got the Fireball ladder. Next year at Money in the Bank, every single ladder is going to have a sponsor. You're going to have like the Jimmy John's ladder, the McDonald's ladder, the Cash App ladder, the Fireball ladder. And I just don't like it. I don't like all the sponsorships. I get it. It makes them a lot of money and it makes sense on a business standpoint. But I do miss the old WWE in the sense where it's like, obviously Vince tried to make money, but it felt like it wasn't all about the money. And he was willing, like him or not, but he's willing to put money on hold if he felt like he was going to give a better product. And so there were one point where El Grande put the metal plate in his head and he climbed a ladder from the outside and used that to jump onto the ladder that Pento's climbing to get Penta off to where Pento's trying to grab the briefcase. It felt like that spot was a little bit clunky and it worked out well, but LA Knight or El Grande Americano, I don't know who's to blame, but one of those two was kind of late for their spot and it kind of killed momentum a little bit. So then Seth Rollins calls out Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed come out because they're like, hey, I need help. And so Braun Breaker comes down and just kills El Grande Americano, hits him with a huge spear, kind of the exact same one he did to Carlito, and then the two of them just kind of clear house, and then Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo show up and come out to help even the odds, and then Solo Sikoa tries to grab the briefcase and Jacob Fatu stops him and like says, "I hate you, Solo," and then Fatu hit him with a moonsault and we knew this match wasn't going to end at that point because they hadn't used the ladder bridge from the kind of the ring to the barricade yet. So Jacob Fatu grabs him and puts Solo through it. Then Seth Rollins grabs the Fireball ladder, and as the crowd's chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, LA Knight tries to stop him, but then Seth Rollins hits him with a stomp, and Seth Rollins wins. And I kind of assumed that Seth Rollins and Punk would both make an appearance in the main event, but shockingly they did not. Overall, it was a pretty good match. I was actually convinced for quite a bit of it, where I get it, it was the same body size as Chad Gable, and it was Chad Gable under the mask, but I was thinking that since Chad Gable had such a big match earlier, that he wouldn't be involved in this, and Chad Gable really didn't have that many spots, and like you'd expect a lot of crazy, insane ladder bumps from Chad Gable being in this position, but he didn't. It felt like he was kind of taking it easy because he had an insane match a couple hours earlier. And then to that point, I say, well, if he's taking it easy because he had a huge match earlier and can't do it, then don't have him in the match. Like, that kind of makes no sense to me. And overall, like, the match was decent. It just felt like the participants just didn't meet the match. Where, like, the women's match was really good because it had a whole bunch of potential winners. Whereas, like, this, it felt like Seth was kind of the only guy that could win. Like, in this match, they should have had Punk in it. Maybe you have Braun Breaker to help Seth. Maybe you add Gunther to this match to try to win his title back. Or maybe you can add Jacob Fatu to this match, and then you have the breakup of Solo and Jacob during the match instead of, like, as a reference. So I wonder if Seth will cash in on Monday. I think he'll attempt to cash in on Monday, but I don't think he'll succeed. I think Seth will probably hold on to the briefcase for a little while. And the main event was John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso won. So the beginning was interesting because beating down Jey, because this match was pretty boring. There was really not many spots throughout 3/4 of the match. There was one point where Jey Uso and Logan Paul were beating, or sorry, yeah, John Cena and Logan Paul were beating up Jey Uso. And then all of a sudden, Logan and Cena just kind of turned on each other and started hitting each other. This allowed Cody Rhodes to take both of them out. And then Logan was going for a frog splash and accidentally hit Cena. And there's a really cool spot where Logan got suplexed and splashed while holding the drone. I thought that was really cool. And then Logan hit a really nice moonsault to the outside on Jey Uso through the announce table. So what happened was Cena hit Cody in the head with the title, and then R-Truth returned, hit Cena with the title, and Cody hit Cena with the Crossroads for the return, or for the win. So this was an amazing moment for me because I hardly ever get shocked in wrestling, but this surprised me so much because in my life I feel like I've never been so disappointed to being so happy. Because when R-Truth entered the jumped the barricade and started attacking Cody, when he entered the ring, I was thinking, oh no, this is just Travis Scott coming to help Cena win. I don't care. I'm not interested in this. Just leave Travis Scott out of it. And then he started hitting Cena and then removed the mask, and it's R-Truth. And I'm like, oh, that's such a great spot. That faked me out totally. And I literally popped like in my chair for that because that was so good. I don't think it'll go anywhere for Truth. I just think this was kind of like a one-time reference point where it's like everyone wants to see Truth, so they're like, okay, we'll show you Truth, and now people stop caring about him again, because that's the thing about it. Before Truth got kind of released, no one really cared about Truth. Like, he did the thing with The Miz at WrestleMania over a year ago, and hasn't done anything since until the Cena program. So overall, it was a boring match because I don't really like seeing John Cena and Jey Uso wrestle because they're not that great at it, but at least John Cena has the name recognition, and it really felt like John Cena and Jey Uso should have had singles matches for their titles at Money in the Bank, and it kind of felt like a wasted Cena appearance because it really didn't accomplish anything. Like, it feels weird Cody fighting at SummerSlam because it feels like that's a little too soon to take the belt off Cena. Jey didn't do anything. Logan Paul didn't do anything, and it just felt like this was just a wasted opportunity, and he could have added another Cena title defense. Because, like, even when he beat Truth, I feel like there's no, like, hard feelings where it's like, okay, he beats Truth for the title in 2 minutes. And so Cena has had back-to-back wrestling matches and not defended the title, which kind of makes no sense to me. I don't really like that. But overall, I thought it was a decent show. We'll see what happens Monday. Surprisingly, no attempt to cash in by Seth Rollins, which was shocking because you had both world champions right there, and Ceno's the one that took the pin. So we'll see what happens. But overall, it's a decent show. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Were they the right winners, Seth Rollins and Naomi? And like I said, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. I'll see you on the next one.